Stop Local at 6:30.
Pass 2-5, get the CRJ in flight. Pass 2-5, pass one to CRJ.
Crash, crash, crash. This is alert 3. Crash, crash, crash.
I just saw a fireball and then it was just gone. So I haven't seen anything since they hit the river, but it was a CRJ and a helicopter that hit. I would say maybe a half-mile off the approach end of 3-3.
Well, some of the air traffic control audio taken from the moments leading up to and the exact moment American Airlines regional jet and an Army Black Hawk helicopter collided midair in the D.C. area. Well, you just saw a video of ICE officers detaining two brothers born in Nicaragua. Good evening, I'm Sean Owsley. It is a video that has gone viral in our area after that happened on Monday. Nonstop Local's Demetra Mergos looked into what happened exactly, and she spoke with both sides to find out background on the entire story. Good evening, Demetra.
Nonstop Local weather alert.
We are under a weather alert tonight. Flooding hitting the region in several areas over the weekend into the early morning hours. This video taken by one of our viewers, Jim Fielder of the Palouse River. There's plenty of water washing practically all the way up to doorsteps. Good evening. Thanks for being with us. I'm Sean Owsley. Tonight, in-depth weather coverage, the impact, which areas were hit the hardest, and the people impacted directly. To cover all the bases, team coverage for you tonight. Leslie Lowe joining us with the latest conditions and is more rain on the way. What's to come? Nonstop Local's Justin Spinney, Demetra Mergos, and Andrew Bartline scattered across the region to show you firsthand the areas hit by this flooding. Let's begin with Leslie. Continuing coverage now, a battery citation dropped against the woman you see here in this video. She was dragged out of the Coeur d'Alene Town Hall meeting in an incident that has now gone viral nationwide. A major weather event unfolding this evening right now live. Take a look at this video. Hurricane Helene. It's a Category 4 storm. It's expected to make landfall on Florida's northwestern coastline soon. It's already packing a big punch. People were driving in that. Here is another brand new video into the 6:30. This is a bird's eye view of the hurricane. And as you can see, what you're looking at in the middle of it, those are lightning strikes. Terrifying sight from above there. We have Chief Weather Forecaster Leslie Lowe tracking this system for us. Leslie, Helene turned into a stronger Category 4 storm, or Cat 4, just a couple of hours ago. Yep. And our lead story at 6, Kohberger on trial, including this new selfie. It's in court documentation. It revealed the selfie of accused quadruple murder suspect Brian Kohberger. Authorities say this picture was taken about 6 hours after the 4 young lives were taken. Good evening, I'm Sean Owsley. Nonstop Local anchor Corey Howard live in the Interactor Center for us tonight. Hi, Corey. The reason this is being brought up, it was related to a witness account from 2022. And good to have you with us tonight. Drive for the title. By this time tomorrow night, the Gonzaga men will be nearly finished with their first NCAA tournament game, and the Washington State Cougars, 24 hours from now, will be about to tip off in theirs. Good evening. I'm Sean Owsley. We cannot say this enough. 4 local teams in the tournament this year, 2 men's teams, 2 on the women's side. And tonight, we have team coverage on all things NCAA, ready to lay out exactly what you can expect from the games here to Omaha, Salt Lake, and Corvallis.
This is a Nonstop Local weather alert.
And we are in a Nonstop Local weather alert, a live look at the downtown area. So far, dry streets, but the snow, well, it prepares to roll in late tonight into early tomorrow morning. Good evening. Always great to have you with us here on Nonstop Local. I'm Sean Owsley. Not only are we expecting snow this week, we're also expecting Arctic temperatures to roll in next week, making for some downright bone-chilling icy conditions. Let's take it straight to weather forecaster Justin. Hi, everyone. I'm Sean Owsley. Straight ahead tonight at 6, here from our control room at Nonstop Local. Breaking news, an industrial building collapse in North Idaho, forcing residents there to evacuate. We have a team heading there. We'll tell you what's happening. Then election coverage. Guy Tannenbaum digging into one of the most expensive races in Washington State, the 5th Congressional District. Who's funding your candidates? What does it mean? And Leslie monitoring conditions from the KHQ Skydeck.
Yeah, Sean, and we are under a weather alert because we've got another stretch of high heat. We've got all those details coming up. Nonstop Local at 6 starts right now.
There's a live picture for you. Spokane International Airport, where temperatures, that's where they measure them, reached the lowest numbers we have seen in almost a year. 19 degrees this morning, the coldest morning since February 17th of last year, which was 17 degrees. So far, we've had winter on the mild side, a few flurries here and there. Let's take a look at those temperatures as they fluctuate. As you can see here, that low point of 17, that was on February 17th, 2024, obviously up, and then we're back down here. But we haven't been back down on that line until this morning at 19. So that's the best weather forecasting I can do. Let's send it back over to the expert for a real explanation. Good evening, I'm Sean Owsley. Coming up next at 6.
I think it should be difficult if you have something which in your pocket which could kill the person sitting next to you.
A new Washington bill that would change the process of purchasing a gun, the extra steps and costs that you would need to take if it passes. Then a judge declining to sign a protection order for the woman who accused Pullman's former police chief of domestic violence and sexual assault. He vehemently denies the charges. What we're learning is the judge was vocal on this case.
Stop Local at 6:30.
Well, this video that you're looking at of ICE officers breaking the windows of a vehicle in Spokane Valley has gone viral in our area. The video showing the arrests as they happened in real time. Good evening, I'm Sean Owsley. Our 360 coverage tonight. What was behind that stop? What an independent immigration attorney said after seeing the video, and what a woman who was inside that car is saying about the whole thing. Let's start with background. What we know is 2 brothers were arrested on Monday. The wife of one of the brothers was in the car. She's pregnant American citizen. The group on their way to a court date for one of the brothers. We'll talk about those specific charges in a moment. ICE telling us they absolutely had probable cause to arrest the 2. The woman we spoke to, who was there in the car, says there was unnecessary force used. Nonstop Local's Dimitri Mergo spoke with both sides and has the story.
Hey, mira! Oh my God!
Did you fear for Jason and Caesar's life?
Yeah. I still fear for it.
Open the door. No, you can! You can!
Kayla Samibara says her husband Jason Ruiz Rodriguez and his brother Caesar, both Nicaraguan natives, were on their way to court. The hearing related to a harassment charge that involved an alleged threat to kill. It's a Class C felony.
They're presenting themselves to court, showing that, they're trying to prove their innocence.
She says once they turned the corner on Custer and 3rd.
And it was at least 12 of them that just surrounded the truck.
Immigration officers at each of their windows. Samibara says as an American citizen, she lowered her window first and asked why they were being stopped.
Oh no, I need Jason and Caesar to get out of the car.
She says she knows her rights and asked for a warrant.
Completely just ignores, that we're asking to see the warrant.
The back and forth continued.
I'm repeatedly telling them we know our rights. We don't have to open the door.
And then she says things took a turn.
If you guys don't get out, we're gonna break the windows.
Which is exactly what happened next.
Get out.
All 3 of them started recording. Officers trying to open the door. Samibara pleading with officers. Officers pulling Ruiz Rodriguez out of the car and arresting both brothers.
I haven't even wanted to watch the full video just because I don't want to have to relive it.
The Ruiz Rodriguez brothers are now sitting in a Tacoma ICE facility. Samibara says back in 2019 there was an order for her husband's removal, but it was later dismissed.
We didn't even know that he had an order.
We reached out to ICE about the Ruiz-Rodriguez brothers' arrest. A spokesperson releasing a statement saying the brothers are suspected members of Tren de Aragua, a Venezuelan gang. Sami Barra refutes this.
I told him, I'm 100% sure that they have nothing to do with any gang.
You can!
The ICE statement adding the brothers resisted officers during the arrest and failed to obey a lawful order to exit a vehicle, which resulted in forced entry by ICE officers. It continues saying Cesar Ruiz-Rodriguez's arrest was a result of his previous arrest by the Spokane County Sheriff's Office for burglary, malicious mischief, drive-by shooting, and threatening to kill.
No, it's illegal.
They confirmed that Jason's arrest was connected to his felony harassment with a weapon charge. The arrest landing him in the Spokane County Jail on December 16th. ICE telling us a federal detainer was entered to keep him from being released because of an existing order from a federal judge. That Jason is to be removed from the United States. That request was not honored.
Is my baby's father going to end up being deported? Is he going to miss the birth of his baby,
No, you can't!
The video tells the part of the story that we know, but it doesn't tell the part of the story that we don't know.
That's Hector Quiroga, an immigration attorney at Quiroga Law Office.
We see a couple of things on the video that raise a concern for me.
Quiroga, who saw the video, says you can see officers from Homeland Security Investigation, or HSI.
Typically, they do criminal investigations.
He adds the video shows the arrests appear to be coordinated.
They very much knew what they were doing. It was a targeted stop.
And
it was very likely it was probable cause.
I asked Quiroga about Sami Barra's concerns about the warrant.
You still have yet to show me an order for, a warrant for their arrest.
He says it's complicated.
In this particular instance, what warrant are we talking about?
Based on the type of warrant officials obtained, they may not have to show detainees during the arrest. It may be back at the station. I asked about if the force used was in the officer's rights.
Typically, arrests like this by federal government and federal officials, when they happen and there are suspicion of weapons or felonies, they are aggressive.
And I showed him the statement from ICE. He told me, based on that statement,
it does support that there was enough there to execute an arrest.
But he qualified this by saying he doesn't have the whole story.
One of the things with videos, we don't know what they know.
Pieces of a painful procedure for Sami Barra's family are still scattered on 3rd. She says what was once a hypothetical could now become a reality.
No, I really didn't think that it was going to happen.
In Spokane, Demetri Maragos, Nonstop Local.
This is breaking news.
And we are following breaking news just into the 6:30 out of Denver. An American Airlines plane, we're learning, caught fire while at Denver International Airport, forcing passengers who were on that aircraft to evacuate. NBC's 9 News saying air slides were deployed to evacuate people. It is unclear now if anyone was injured. That fire has since been put out. So far, it hasn't been confirmed how that fire started, but some sources have said the jet fuel caught fire. Updates on Nonstop Local throughout the night. As you can see in this picture here, a lot of smoke rising there as emergency crews responded to that aircraft. Again, no indication of any injuries, but that could be updated as we get word from officials as they gather information there in Denver. Big 6 headlines tonight. The investigation into a deadly police shooting that left 1 man dead, 4 Spokane officers on leave, is now complete. That's according to the Spokane Independent Investigative Response Team. The shooting happened in January of 24 at about 4 p.m. in North Spokane on North Kalispell. According to the Spokane County Sheriff's Office, deputies responded to reports of a man threatening to kill a neighbor. That man has since been identified as 55-year-old Richard Rogasart. After hours of negotiations, deputies reportedly went into his home. They say that's when he lunged at them with an axe. He was shot and killed. There were 4 deputies involved. The case now going to the Spokane County Prosecutor's Office to determine if those deputies' actions were legally justified. In a Crime Tracker alert, a man making his first appearance in court accused of threatening and stalking someone he thought almost hit his vehicle. Here's what we're learning. This is 34-year-old Bruce Brozowski. Brzezowski facing first-degree extortion and malicious mischief charges alongside stalking charges. Today in court, a Spokane County prosecutor called Brzezowski's case alarming.
Mr. Brzezowski was almost rear-ended by a black truck. He did record the incident of that and later found a black truck in a nearby location which did not match the vehicle which was recorded in the incident. And the biggest irony perhaps in this particular case is that Mr. Brzezowski has many driving-related convictions on his record.
Brzezowski's charges are from an incident in November of 24. According to court documents, Brzezowski was almost rear-ended by a black truck. He reportedly went looking for that truck and apparently found a different one that he thought was the truck, left a note on the windshield. Court documents say the note demanded $300 or else Brzezowski would send someone to destroy the truck. Well, the truck owner knew nothing about this, didn't know what it was about, reported the note to police and didn't answer that request. Days later, he found his truck shot multiple times with a BB or pellet gun. He also saw Brzezowski outside of his home several times after that. He was arrested yesterday. He'll be back in court on arraignment March 25th. Federal judge in California ordering the Department of Veterans Affairs, Defense, Energy, Interior, Agriculture, and Treasury reinstate thousands of probationary employees fired last month. The ruling says the departments must, quote, offer reinstatement to any and all probationary employees terminated on or about February 13th. The judge reasoned the original directive was not legal in his view. White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt responded to the motion in a news conference, says, quote, single judge is attempting to unconstitutionally seize the power of hiring and firing from the executive branch, end quote. She went on to say that the judge was abusing the power of the entire judiciary to, quote, thwart the president's agenda, end quote. Nonstop Local did reach out, meantime, to the Bonneville Power Administration to find out how this impacts their probationary workers let go last month. Well, Bonneville told us efforts have already been underway to rehire some employees. 89 have been asked to return so far, so the directive is an extra push to continue. Well, a big change on an iconic landmark here in Spokane. A little bit of history made in downtown Spokane. Park Board has signed off on renaming the U.S. Spokane Pavilion. Nonstop Local's Morgan Ashley has the new name, details of the deal.
Well, the Spokane Pavilion's now known as the Gisa Credit Union Pavilion. The Parks Board made that announcement late this afternoon. It's a $2.6 million deal, 10 years over the course of it, and it's for the iconic Spokane landmark at Riverfront Park. There is a 5-year extension option with this deal as well. It'll bring in a guaranteed investment of $50,000 per year for new, free, low-cost opportunities that are educational, cultural, or even entertainment. The board has been looking for a naming rights sponsor for years now. It was sidelined a bit by the pandemic. The Riverfront Spokane director, Jonathan Moog, says in 2014, leaders formed their master plan that was meant to be a guide for the next 20 years. And one of their main points was generating sustainable revenue. The naming deal opens up the funds the Park Board says they really need. But not everyone's been on board with this decision, notably Mayor Lisa Brown, who said in January to the Park Board she thinks it's inappropriate to compromise the identity by selling naming rights. Here's more of the back and forth at today's meeting.
You have a levy coming out this fall. It's a good idea. It's well thought out. It's good stewardship. This agreement is good stewardship. You need to maximize your economic opportunities, and the pavilion has been an unrealized economic opportunity for many, many years.
I really feel like our parks belong to our community, and it feels wrong in my heart to sell the pavilion. I understand financial needs, and I think that the pavilion used to make some pretty good revenue.
People we talked with earlier this week say they find it hard to imagine calling it anything other than the pavilion. In downtown Spokane tonight, I'm Morgan Ashley.
Representatives from the U.S. and Canada meeting today as President Trump threatens to impose tariffs on alcoholic beverages coming from the European Union. Aaron Gilchrist has more from Washington, D.C.
Now he's Secretary General of NATO.
President Trump upping the ante in the trade war with allies, threatening a 200% tax on alcohol from parts of Europe, costing big for that glass of wine or bubbly. The threat coming after the European Union placed a 50% tariff on U.S. whiskey. The president downplaying the pain to small businesses.
They're going to be so much richer than they are right now.
During his meeting with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, not softening his tone on tariffs.
Now, I'm not going to bend at all. Aluminum or steel or cars. We're not going to bend. We've been ripped off as a country for many, many years.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio meeting with G7 diplomats in Canada trying to cool temperatures. And on the other side of the border, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick and Canadian leaders talking tariffs in Washington, D.C. On Capitol Hill, lawmakers facing a crisis too, trying to avoid a government shutdown tomorrow night.
Democrats need to decide if they're going to support funding legislation that came over from the House or if they're going to shut down the government.
What the Republicans are doing is not a CR, it's a license to destroy. There are things in that that are utterly unacceptable, and it's a surrendering of the powers of Congress.
The tug of war on issues impacting the economy, adding to Americans' anxiety.
I think the situation is evolving quickly, and I think that, it's not quite clear how things are going to evolve.
Well, for the first time in years, a total lunar eclipse will be visible for some American spectators tonight, complete with a view of the resulting red blood moon. You know where we're going next. We're going to Leslie to track this for us. And Leslie, this will go from tonight until the early hours of tomorrow.
Yeah, this is so cool, and I really wish I could say I could stay up late enough to see it, so I'm hoping you can get some pictures. If you're up tonight and you actually snap one, please send it our direction. The lunar eclipse is expected to start about 8:57 p.m. tonight and will complete all of its eclipse phases in 6 hours and 3 minutes. Spectators across the country gathering to witness the phenomenon, which hasn't happened in nearly 3 years. The last one was in November of 2022. Now, before we get into who will be able to see it, let's talk about what a lunar eclipse is. A lunar eclipse means the Earth is passing between the sun and the moon, which means the Earth is blocking the sun's light, making the moon appear a dark reddish orange. As for who gets to see the lunar eclipse, well, it should be open to see everywhere, mainly in the Midwestern states. They're the luckiest. In the U.S., it all depends on weather conditions. So let's get a look at what we're expecting here. Cloud coverage is not as bad as what we were expecting it to be yesterday at this time. So if you are up and you are out and you catch a glimpse, you might get some of those eerie little clouds in there. Otherwise, you should be good to go. The good news is that there is another one coming next year, so we won't have to wait too long, Sean, to experience this phenomenon once again. I
remember being in elementary school and we had a full eclipse in the middle of the day, and we walked out and they're like, don't look directly at it. I was fascinated.
It really is just so fascinating.
It never gets old.
And we're in the same studio, so I keep just looking over at you.
She's over there. You can't see it, but we're looking right. Yeah.
Right
I always feel so small when we talk about things of that magnitude.
It's so true,
right?
Isn't it, though?
Yeah.
Yeah. So much more than just us.
Yeah. All right. There's also so much more ahead tonight on Nonstop Local 630. We'll be right back.